Make a video up on a little run, 6-mile run up on the ridge here, Schwangunk Ridge, the Gunks. And so I saw an article, and people always ask me about reality TV and Gordon Ramsay and how mean of a chef he is. And so people always ask me, Marcus, our kitchen's really like that. And it was interesting because the other day Jacques Pepin, he was quoted in an article, saying that all that kitchen abuse isn't necessary and it's not part of, and it gives a bad image. And he specifically called out, implied to calling out Gordon Ramsay for being abusive and saying it's not necessary. And I've worked in a lot of kitchens, and I actually worked for the chef who trained Gordon Ramsay, who Gordon Ramsay worked for, Pierre Kaufman at La Claire in England, and he wasn't as bad as Gordon Ramsay, but still the abuse and the verbal abuse is insane. When I worked at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, if you had your act together and you were on top of it, you didn't suffer the abuse like other people did. But there's a lot of cooks out there that just can't handle the heat. They can't handle the kitchen. And these guys do get abused. These guys really do get abused. Is it necessary? I don't think it is. I worked for Anton Mosman for a little while at his dining club in England. What a gentleman! What a chef! What a person! No abuse, no yelling. Very high standards, very rigorous standards. Extremely high standards. In fact, last week I was there. We cooked dinner for Princess Diana. She was in to eat. So, that's going back into the 90s, into 96, 97, I believe. But I've worked for some chefs that are really, really nice. I've worked for some chefs that aren't so nice. Myself, my personal management style is to be rigorous, not ruthless. I always respect my people. I always give them a couple opportunities to fix the problem. So, of course, some people just can't hang. Like I said, they can't handle the heat, and they're going to have problems. Even if they're working with me, they're going to have problems because we're held to high standards at my restaurant, as in any restaurant should be, and to be able to get the plates out in a proper time, not overcooked, the plates look good. If you respect me by giving up good quality food, I'll respect you. It happens, when you don't respect my guests, you don't respect my business. That's when I start having a problem, and that's when I can turn and start not being so nice to you, because realistically, at that point you're not going to last in the kitchen. You're not going to last in my kitchen, and it's time for you to get out. And sometimes goodbyes are not the nicest goodbyes. But I give plenty of chances, and I talk to people, I sit down to people, I explain to people. But a lot of these other chefs, just right off the bat, they're yelling and screaming at you from day one. When I was at the Greenbrier, I was told I had 48 hours to get my act together. I was going to lose my job. You have 48 hours to get your act together. And I had experience. I was coming in, but it was a totally new kitchen to me, totally new setup. It was kind of hard to adjust from going into a place with 125, 150 cooks and working this big line and not knowing where things are, and new terminology and whatever it was. It's just a new environment. Sometimes it's hard to shine your first couple days. So my first week, they were like, "You got 48 hours to get your act together," And they weren't nice about it. They weren't nice about it at all, Instead of sitting me down and saying, this is what we're looking for, this is what you're doing, and that's what I like to do. I like to communicate. After I've communicated 3-4 times and you're not getting it, then okay, then get out. Get out. This job's not for you. This career might not be for you. You've got to pick something else. You got to go abuse somebody else's guests and food. You can't disrespect me anymore. So that's I really don't feel that all that abuse is necessary. I really don't feel that any of that abuse is really necessary. So Jacques Pepin is right. Kind of a lot of that's created drama for TV, to make Gordon Ramsay be who he is. He is like that. And when I worked for Pierre Kaufman, I said I want to go work for Gordon Ramsay, and a couple of people had worked for him at the time, just before they worked for Kaufman. And Ramsay was in his second Michelin star, trying to get his third Michelin star, and they go, if you think Kaufman's bad, Ramsay will kill you. And it was only a couple blocks away, the restaurant. They go, Ramsay will kill you. That's that's the kind of reputation he's got. This is back in the 90s. So he's had that reputation. It wasn't really TV that that gave him that reputation. He's like that, you know. He's very much like that. So, but people, you know, a lot of chefs are like that. A lot of chefs are just hard asses, real hard asses. And, you know, line cooks go there and they go with the anticipation of only working 6 months to a year and then getting the hell out because they want to put stuff like that on their resume. And it's unfortunate that a lot of these chefs from trying to adjust the light here. It's a shame that a lot of these chefs at these nice places, these Michelin 2-3-star places and these high-end places are just like that. They don't need to be like that, as in the case of Anton Mosman, you know, turning out incredible food, and he's not like that. Paul Gaylor, the same thing. I worked for him at the Lanesboro in cooking incredible food, but he was not like that. So you don't need it. You don't need that to motivate your staff. Certain staff members, I believe, are motivated by that. Certain people are. Certain people like the pressure. Me as a cook, I like the pressure. I didn't like the abuse, but I like the pressure. Put the pressure on me and I'll perform. So you have to figure out, you know, it's management. It's all part of management style. So, but I do know one thing. This out here is a beautiful thing. All right, back to my run.